And joining us for the whole show, our newest Talking Drupal member, Martin Anderson-Klutz, Senior Solutions Engineer at Acquia. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Nick. Great to be here.
And now to talk about our module of the week, let's turn it over to Martin, who is the maintainer of a growing number of Drupal modules of his own. Martin, what do you have for us this week?
Thanks, Nick. This week, I thought we would talk about OpenAI, which provides a suite of modules and an API foundation for OpenAI integration for generating text, content, images, content analysis, and more. The module is quite new. It was actually just created in January of 2023, and the current version is a 1.0.0 Alpha 8, which actually requires Drupal 10. So if you've been putting off upgrading to Drupal 10, here's a great reason to do so. Now, the module is very actively maintained, and there's lots of great discussion and activity, both in its issue queue and in the OpenAI Drupal Slack channel. It currently has 34 open issues, 6 of which are bugs, and the module is currently in use by 149 websites. It was created by Kevin Quillen of Valier, who also himself maintains a healthy list of modules. Now, the module works by integrating Drupal with APIs available from OpenAI, the company behind ChatGPT. It allows content authors to leverage AI to enhance their content in a variety of ways. So, generating text using a ChatGPT like query, summarizing existing text, changing its sentiment, suggesting taxonomy terms, and more. There are a number of ways you can make these capabilities available within your Drupal website. So, you can put it into the WYSIWYG toolbar as a button, as additional sidebar controls in the entity form, and also as a dedicated administrative interface. There are also granular controls over how the AI will be used. So, which AI model you want it to use, how much randomness to introduce, and so on. And there's even devel integrations so that instead of generating content that looks like lorem ipsum, it can actually bear some resemblance to the content of the site that you're actually developing. Now, this is a module that I personally started playing with about 6 weeks ago. And even in that short time, I've seen some pretty significant evolution. So I would say that it already offers a robustness and range of capabilities that I think is pretty exceptional for a module that's so new. And there are a number of additional capabilities that are currently planned. So let's talk about the OpenAI module.
Yeah, I think this is super cool. I think one of the things that really stood out to me is the summarize option. So having that like little snippet for a teaser for a piece of content is, for me, is one of the hardest things to pull together. So having something that can kind of give you an idea of what you should put there, I think is super helpful.
I was just going to say, I feel like we've probably all worked on projects where at the start you develop this ambitious content architecture where you're going to have, summaries and tags and all these things. And then once it gets into the hands of editors, they just want to copy and paste in the content, attach the images and move on to other tasks that they have. And so I think the promise of AI to potentially, generate those summaries, do some of the tagging to make that process easier, but also fulfill that original vision for the site, I think is pretty compelling.
Yeah.
With the excitement of ChatGPT and the API, I'm a little surprised that that number is at 149. I wonder if something has to do with the paywall that is with the API. So when you create an API key for ChatGPT, you have a threshold of number of free like queries you have for them, and you have to start to pay at some point. Do you have any sense of that, Martin?
I mean, definitely the fact that it requires payment is probably, a little bit of a disincentive. I think also it being so new, there may not be as many people just aware that the capability exists. And then also, anytime you have something that is in sort of that alpha state, which I think even the alpha release is quite new, there's a bit of a disincentive in terms of people like obviously aren't going to want to use it on production sites. So probably a combination of factors. But again, seeing the momentum that it has right now, I would expect that number to grow pretty quickly.
I would agree with that. Actually, I was going to say the exact same thing as Martin. Like I've been following the module or a set of modules since its inception. It's quite impressive how fast it's kind of being expanded upon. But obviously, it's still tagged alpha, which I do think, makes a lot of people reluctant to actually try it. So at some point, hopefully, we'll get to beta and sort of a GA release as well, and I would expect that number to go up quite a bit.
Yeah,
Right.
and I was going to take the opposite tactic. I mean, 149 sites in 5 months is, I feel like the threshold to get to 100 sites is a lot longer than people might think. I'd be interested to see how quickly other modules get adopted in the past. I think 150 in a few months means a lot of people are really interested in playing with it, at least.
It'll be interesting. We're actually having Kevin on the show in a couple of weeks to talk about his new book with Matt Glauman. So we can ask him about it when he comes on. I was actually also thinking, as Martin was talking, Stephen and I at the beginning of this year had kind of talked about blogging on our personal blogs more, and I feel like this could be used to help facilitate that endeavor, because I'm admittedly lagging behind. So,
well, thank you, Martin. Another great module choice for module of the week. So let's move on to our primary topic.